Hello and welcome everyone to the American Family Insurance Dream Bank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. My name is Andy Frisky. I am a senior dream curator here at Dream Bank, and so thrilled to have you all join us here today. We always like to poll the audience when we have these types of events. If you're comfortable sharing where you are tuning in from today, we always love to hear that. But for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Dream Bank, we'd love to take just a few moments and talk to you a little bit about who we are and why we exist. So here at American Family Insurance, we believe that communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. And that's why Dream Bank was created. It's an inspirational community destination and virtual experience that is dedicated to dreamers everywhere. Our offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and to stay motivated. I'll be putting in a few other pertinent links to some of our upcoming programs, as well as where to find recordings from all of our previous programs as well. But before we go ahead and kick things off, I'd like to introduce our featured speaker today, Andrew Bontz. So Andrew is a former marketing director at Midwest family of companies. He orchestrated a remarkable transformation, propelling a radio broadcasting company into a full-service digital marketing powerhouse. Currently, Andrew's consulting firm focuses on collaborating with companies in men's health, empowering them with a predictable selling system to fuel growth and amplify their impact. So get ready to be captivated by Andrew's experience, enthusiasm, and undeniable authority. Brace yourselves for an unforgettable experience that reshapes your business landscape. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Andrew. Andrew, take it away.
That was awesome, Andy. I really appreciate you. Man, we got people coming in from all over the place. I just saw New Orleans and up in Shawano, Wisconsin. So thank you for taking the time and investing in yourself today and staying ahead of your competition and learning new things. So if you don't have the workbook yet, jump on my website, click on the ChatGPT resources and fill out this form real quick. After you fill out the form, it'll send you right to the Google Doc where those prompts are. If ChatGPT cooperates, you can hopefully hang right alongside me today and play in ChatGPT. Right now, it looks like it's experiencing some capacity issues, which happens at times. Thankfully, I have all these prompts where later tonight, once ChatGPT slows down a little bit, you can start playing with the prompts and apply them to your business. But I think I have it going for mine. I do have a backup plan if need be. So what are we going to talk about today? Let's get this ball rolling. All right, everyone can see my slides. Give me a thumbs up. Hopefully, I can't see the chat right now. So, Andy, can you see them?
Yeah, everything's looking good on my end. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I want to talk about a framework that I believe when you utilize with ChatGPT can double your sales. And one of the things that Andy didn't mention is I have a men's health podcast called Resisting Beta. I'm not going to talk a lot about it today, but it is kind of my baby I've been building over the last year. If you're into men's health, men's physical and spiritual health, we are on a mission to cut the male suicide rate in half by 2032 by helping lift men up and become better leaders. So wanted to dive into what we're going to talk about today. If you haven't downloaded the workbook, check out that. If you just rather pay attention and take notes, that's okay too. I'll leave it up to you. So what I want you to do is share in the chat the answer to the question, what do you do? If you're at a networking event or in an Uber and someone asks you, what do you do? And we're going to use this later on. So type it out. What do you do? What is your answer to that question? Corporate trainer. We have, what else? We got IT from Jeff, change manager from Brian, public health and health policy consultants all over the board. Awesome. What else? Julietta, Jack's cybersecurity, sales. Okay. Men's health. Hey, Ken. Ken was a previous guest on the podcast. Welcome, brother. Higher ed consulting. All right. We got all different types of businesses. So that's exciting. And the cool thing is I don't need to know a lot about your business, but ChatGPT will, and I'll show you in a little bit. But before we kind of get going, I want to tell you a story. There I was, marketing director at Midwest Family. I was a one-man team. I was trying to do the job of what probably could have been 8 people, writing blogs, social media content, trying to really harness our strategy teams to create content, chasing people around, be like, hey, I need a blog from you. Hey, I need a social media post. I need this and need this and need this. And I was overwhelmed and frustrated, trying to do too much, wearing too many hats inside of business that was a significant business. We had 8 locations across the Midwest. I was in Madison here, trying to make a dent in all of these shiny objects that all these experts that I thought I should be doing. And it was frustrating. And all of a sudden I saw a Facebook ad about 2 years ago for Jasper, or at the time it was Jarvis. They had to change it to Jasper because I believe like Marvel like axed them, but hey, can't have that name. So now it's called Jasper. And I started playing with it, and I dislike long form writing. I hate writing, especially technical writing skills, not my forte. Where to put commas, all of those things, just not my jam. And that's okay. But I got started in using an AI and machine learning with Jasper at the time. And I was able to write a 500 to 1,000 word blog post in a matter of minutes. And it blew my mind. I ran downstairs, showed my manager, showed it to him, opened up my computer, be like, Jared, check this thing out. I'm going to write a blog post about SEO right now. Boom, clicked enter, wrote a 500 word blog post right in front of the two of us. And both of our jaws were wide open. And we're like, this is going to change everything. And it didn't, at least not right away. About 18 months later, a little thing called ChatGPT came out. And at the time, or I still am running I had left Midwest and started my own consulting company. And I was working with customers and helping them develop a 90-day plan to double their sales. And in this process, I would meet with them about 8 to 10 hours over 3 days. You know, after the first 3 days, we'd meet for 8 to 10 hours. We'd dive into their business, go through a bunch of exercises and workshops and worksheets and all those sort of things. And then 30 days later, we'd do the same thing. 30 days later, we'd do the same thing. 40 or 50 hours later, we had a really cool plan to help double their business and a lot of key metrics and a lot of the things. But then when ChatGPT came out, I saw how I could do what used to take me about 40 hours with my clients and 30 hours of their time too, in about 2 to 3 hours. And today we're going to go over what I would cover in day 1, which would take me about 8 to 10 hours with you. We're going to do it about 40 minutes. And that's the power of ChatGPT. That is the power of putting this tool to work for your business. So that's why I'm super excited. But don't take my word for it. There's a guy named Bill Gates that says it's going to be the most important advance in technology since the graphical user interface. What is that? If you're not a tech nerd or an IT guy, it's what makes this look like this on your Windows computer or any of your computers or any of your devices that interfaces with all the code and all the IT jargon and the stuff happening behind the ones and the zeros and the binary code and all the things that I don't necessarily understand at a great level because that's not my jam either. But I do know that I like this, and it happened way back in the 80s. So this can be a big deal. And digital marketing owner Michelle Burson was talking about compared to the printing press, where many people, when the printing press came out, they believed it would put printers out of business, but it didn't. It just allowed them to work faster, more efficiently, and at a lower cost. And I believe no matter what business that you're in, ChatGPT can help you do so. And especially if you're trying to improve your sales and marketing. And that's what I want to talk about today. But what's the problem? Well, your business probably isn't likely growing as fast as it should be. And that's frustrating. It's unpredictable. Sales aren't predictable. You're either dependent on word of mouth and referrals or launches, or sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, depending on the winds of time, pushing you all over the place. And you definitely don't want to be this guy. You don't want to be that sleazy car salesman, greased back hair guy from the 1970s. And you don't want to burn your cash. This is the one that's the most frustrating part to me that I see in businesses, where most businesses are front loaded. They've invested a ton of their own either time or the resources or their own team in creating things like blog posts, things like social media, website updates. And those are really only in the front 2 parts of the system I'm going to talk about today. There's 8 parts to the customer journey we'll talk about today. And those are really only in the first 2. And it's really difficult to attribute ROI to those. To if you ask your social media person, be like, hey, how much money did our social media make us today? They'll give you a funny look. Or how much money did our blog make it? The blog post that you created yesterday, how much did that create for us? They'll look at you and be like, you're an alien, because you can't answer that question because it's so hard to attribute ROI for it, but it is connected to success. You just don't know when and where and how often and all that stuff. So, but I'll talk about some of the solutions here in a second. But what I want to hear from you right now in the chat is, what is the number one thing you'd like to get out of today's workshop? Help me out with there. Enter in the chat. What is the number one thing that you'd like to get out of the workshop today? Let me know. Come on, people. Need your engagement. Need your energy here. What's the number one thing you want to get out of it? I'm going to take a drink of water. Sales, communications, leads, real life uses for ChatGPT, guardrails. Okay. Better understanding of ChatGPT, real life uses, just learning. Okay. Cool. Well, I believe that your title seems a little lofty. How are we going to get there? I like that, Tara. Call me on my copywriting skills. Better prompts. Okay, all over the board. I appreciate that. Thank you for your engagement. So what Tara was alluding to was this, right? Can't ChatGPT create a life where you can be, doing your best Scrooge McDuck in a big swimming pool of money? I don't know. I'm not going to promise that, but it's a cool idea to think about, right? What our objective is today is where we want to go is create at least a framework or a start to a predictable sales and marketing system that is built to scale, that you can plan on. We want to be able to build a system that allows you to feel like you're the authority that you are, and maintain your brand integrity throughout your entire sales process, and have uniformity and consistency and congruency all the way through. And I'm assuming at the level of businesses that you're at, you don't have cash to burn. You don't have a gigantic budget where you can just invest money and hope some of it sticks. You want a sales system. So my goal today is at least to get started. We're not going to answer all the questions today. Like I told you, it used to take me 8 to 10 hours, up to 40 hours of one-on-one time with the client to build this stuff. But we're going to have a really good start to help you start on your way to building a framework, a blueprint, a plan, a roadmap, whatever the hell you want to call it, to building your sales and giving you that formulaic framework for predictable growth, and how you can use ChatGPT to speed up success. ChatGPT is not the golden egg here. It is just a tool that's going to kind of grease the wheels and speed up our path towards that. So if you're ready for this information, what I want you to do is just type in "let's go." Give me some energy in the chat. Type out "let's go." Give me your best JJ Watt and say, "Hey, Andrew, you've promised some big promises here with the ChatGPT and doubling my sales. That is a bold claim, my friend. Give me a let's go in the chat." Energy here on this summer. There you go. Thanks, Tammy. Appreciate you. I got 2 kids downstairs. They drained a lot of my energy out this morning. So thank you for that. I told them to be quiet and stay off screen. So we'll see. So my internet can keep going. If you have any parents at home doing this along with us, yeah, you're right there with me, I hope. So, all right. So what's the agenda today? So we're going to talk about the growth triad and 3 pillars. We're going to talk about how to build your persona with ChatGPT and the importance of that, and kind of build that framework out. We're going to talk about a copywriting tool called the before and after index. And we're really going to, get started in brainstorming your framework, your customer journey, and how we can use ChatGPT to be your consultant, to act as kind of some of the best consultants out there in the digital marketing landing space and the marketing strategy landscape and help you along. So a little bit about me. I have all kinds of certifications in digital marketing, and I'm not going to dive into these a ton, but just want to show you this, just to let you know that I've been doing this for a while, about a decade, and I've invested, I don't know, thousands and thousands of hours into honing this craft and understanding the system. So I want to share some of the systems and how you can utilize all these expertise without necessarily having to invest all that time with utilizing ChatGPT, because it can help you along the way. I have been playing with AI for a while. I went through Digital Marketer. They put on a boot camp for AI. This is kind of like a 300, 400 level course for AI. If you really want to dive in, it's something that it's closed right now, but if you're interested in it, I can give you some information on that. I have like a affiliate relationship with them. So because I help leverage their training to help train my clients and that kind of stuff for the things that I don't cover. So, but we're going to really cover some of the basic stuff. We're going to come to fundamentals, the beginners stuff, beginner 101. By the end of this, you'll have a prompt that you can use to really help speed up any type of content creation that you're trying to create, whether it be for sales material or marketing material. So what is the growth triad? The growth triad, there are 3 pillars to a successful marketing system. First one is having a documented customer journey. Second one is having actionable metrics. This is the one that a lot of business owners don't have enough information on. They just track sales and in the balance sheet, but they aren't necessarily keeping score across the whole spectrum of their business. And the last one is tools and tactics. This is where most marketers will talk about shiny objects to use: SEO, email marketing, Facebook, TikTok, video, blogging, website conversion rate optimization, all of these tools and tactics that they'll say. One person will tell you need to be blogging 1,000-word blog articles, and the other one will be like, hey, TikTok's the next hottest thing. And you can get stuck looking at all these shiny objects and trying to keep up with the Joneses and not necessarily having any success. You'll just feel really, really busy and exhausted. But if you have 2 of these, if you have a documented journey and you have actionable metrics, you're kind of stuck in the mud. You're not going anywhere because you don't have the tools and tactics that you need. If you have the documented journey and the tools and tactics, you're kind of like a bull in a china shop. This is where most people kind of sit, where they have lots of activity. Their team's busy. They're creating all kinds of content, throwing stuff against the wall. Some things are working, some things aren't, but I have no clue what's working. I am exhausted and overwhelmed and have a huge comparison complex because I'm not doing what they're doing. And then there's the people who have actionable metrics and tools and tactics, but no documented journey. They're a one-hit wonder. It worked once. It may not work again, and they can't figure out why. The goal is to really have these 3 pillars balanced. And we're not going to cover all of these today. We're going to glance a little bit at each of them, but I like to lay out the foundation with a 10,000-foot view on the 3 components that I believe are the fundamentals of any marketing strategy or any sales system. So let's get going with building your persona and start talking about ChatGPT, because that's why you all are here. But I believe that ChatGPT is just access to frameworks and processes. If you don't have the frameworks and processes, you can't necessarily prompt in a way where you're going to get a good output or get what you want. So where do we start? We start with the who. All marketing needs to start with the who. This is where a lot of people skip this step because it sounds like, oh yeah, a lot of mark. Oh, good job, Mr. Marketer. We're going to talk about our persona. Fantastic. Let's get going with it, because it is one of the 3 components that you need to have successful marketing, to understand who you are talking to, because we are all marketing to human beings. We all have one thing in common. We are not a B2B. We are not B2C. We are a human to human company. You are a human to human company. There's a human behind every single screen that you're trying to market to, every radio you're trying to speak to, every email pulling up. They're all human beings. And we all know that, but it's good to be reminded of that. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Okay. So there's this gentleman named Desmond Morris. Desmond Morris is not a marketer. He's a zoologist, and he studied human beings on how does human intimate relationships, how do people go from perfect strangers to naked in the sheets. And he studied them from a zoologist lens. And he realized that there are 12 steps where people go from perfect strangers to an intimate relationship. And the sequence, the steps are, first they eye to body, they see each other walking down the street, eye to eye, they make eye contact, voice to voice, they have a conversation, say hello, maybe get their number. Number 4 is they hold hands, handshake maybe. Number 5 is hand to shoulder, the dancing, or a hug. Hand to waist is walking her to the door, or walking him with each other to the door. Face to face is a kiss. Hand to head is a little bit more of an intimate kiss. Hand to body is getting a little bit frisky. And steps 10 to 12 is more like bounce chicka wow wow. They making things a little bit behind door, rated R type stuff. And what he found is that the time didn't matter. It was the sequence that mattered. This could happen in a night or a number of hours, or it can happen in a number of years. It was the sequence, the pattern that was the successful sequence of people being able to go from strangers to an intimate relationship. And one of the key things that I want you to leave with this with is, Andrew, where are you taking this, right? Is that if you skip steps, it's creepy. You give the person a creepy feel. If you were to all of a sudden see somebody walking down the street and then start talking to them without having eye contact, they're going to be startled. They're like, whoa, where'd you come from? I didn't even see you. If you're going to go from talking to somebody to grabbing their shoulder, creepy, feels weird. And if you skip more than 2 steps, it's borderline assault. It feels really gross and not enjoyable. So what does this mean to your sales and marketing? Well, we are talking to human beings. We are trying to build a relationship with human beings. And Digital Marketer created this framework where there's 8 steps. Because luckily, we're not trying to get our customers naked. So we're just trying to move them from a stranger to a raving fan. And through these 8 stages of awareness, engagement, subscription, conversion, excite, ascend, advocate, and promote. And if that's overwhelming, that's okay, because this is new to you. But ChatGPT is going to help us with this. And I'll talk a little bit more about how in just a second. But before we get there, what I want you to do is share your website or your LinkedIn bio. And in particular, if you want to be a guinea pig, if you want me to highlight your business and use your business as an example, as we start diving into ChatGPT, if you feel like you have a good description on your website or on your LinkedIn about what you do and who you serve. So add that to the chat. And I'll have Andy pick one from the chat of who we're going to focus on for the next 3 exercises that we're going to run into or go through with ChatGPT.
Andrew, some questions have come through about the slides. I don't know if you planned on making the slides available to folks at all, or if that's something that's proprietary. Either way, is there a way you might be able to go back just 1 slide just for a person to reference?
Yeah, I will use this. I'll come back to this framework again as we use ChatGPT to build this out for your business. So you'll see this at least twice more. If you want to, you can draw this out on a quick piece of paper and as a reference, but we won't need it right now. But yeah, is this a slide that you're talking about? Yes, maybe.
Yep, it was me. I wanted that one. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll use ChatGPT to draw this out, and you'll see it a couple more times. So was this any other questions? Andy?
Nope, I think that's it. But there's a good pool of folks who have submitted their LinkedIns and their websites. So
awesome. All right. Well, Andy, why don't you look at the crowd there?
Sure.
And tell me one to focus on.
Let's go. Okay. So I think one from Kiana, kayscleaningservices.com. I will send that to you directly so that you have that.
Okay.
There you go, Andrew.
Okay, so how can we start using ChatGPT? So what I want you to do is, if ChatGPT is participating, is go to your workbook, and exercise number 1 is where prompt number 1, we're just going to copy this over. And we're going to take it over to ChatGPT and we're going to paste it into there. And I'm going to pull, okay, so pretty simple business. So K's cleaning service. So they have mission company. All right, so some of the text is being a little bit, I'm not sure if it's my browser or whatnot, but it's a cleaning service. Is it residential cleaning? Okay, easy enough. So the type of business, we are a residential. Okay, and then the things that we're going to talk about is it's going to name them. So it's going to name this person so we can use it as a reference and talk about some other marketing components, the demographics, interests, key purchase drivers, daily frustrations, their fears, what they want, a list of, we'll stick to 5, list of what are their aspirations, what are 5 actions they're taking before they buy your service, and what are 5 products and services they might have purchased before buying our products and service. And these will help us understand their buying behavior, both from a targeting standpoint to where if you're trying to understand what people are buying before, so you could reach them at a different part of their customer journey. It just give you some good information from or marketing's perspective to help you along the game here. So and then if you have a little bit more of a complex business, on the prompts here, it says insert more about your business. If ChatGPT, like it's a residential cleaning business, so it's something that ChatGPT is going to really understand. If you are a little bit more of an advanced business, you might want to copy over your about section. So if we wanted to go to Kay's business and copy in some of the content here, her about us, we could copy that in, but I don't think it's necessary, but you might want to. Or if you have a LinkedIn bio, you can copy it in there. The more you give ChatGPT, the better it's going to give out. I don't think it's necessary in this specific example, but for your business, you might want to try that out. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up. Hopefully it works. Aha, it worked. Fantastic. All right, so ChatGPT is going to work. And it's diving into, I have ChatGPT 4, I have a paid one, so yours might look a little bit different. They do updates and changes every single day, so it's okay. I think if you're using the free version, it might go a little bit faster, but the content might be a little bit different. So in my screen, I have another screen over here. That's why I'm looking down. Okay, so ChatGPT is almost done. Okay, so it broke out each of these things. So our person is named Sarah. For some reason, ChatGPT likes the name Sarah because Sarah's been coming up in a lot of my examples lately, but that's okay. So a little bit of information about her, some of her interests. She loves home organization, health and wellness, time with family. She likes convenience, time saving, quality, trustworthiness, health and safety. Her frustrations are she's always juggling stuff, struggling to have life balance, unable to maintain a consistently clean, organized home. She feels super guilty about not being able to keep up to her task. Can you see how so this is good information that ChatGPT just threw at us that, I mean, is something that most likely we know, but it's good to have that written down so every single person in our organization is on the same page about who we're trying to serve and having a name for it. What do they want? What are their aspirations? What actions have they taken before buying your service and utilizing those? And what products or services have they purchased before? So this is a good start. So what we're doing is we're telling ChatGPT the who. We are training ChatGPT to be our AI consultant, our copywriting consultant, right? Okay, so let's jump back to the next step. We can leave that there. We don't need to do any more with that right now. We're going to jump forward. So the next step is before and after. This is another copywriting tool. So what I want you to do in the chat right now is, what do you think the goal of sales and marketing should be? And I gave you a little bit of a hint in the title. So what do you believe in the chat right now? What do you believe is the goal of sales and marketing? Tara wants that dollar. She says it's money. That's awesome. Laura, engage them so they want to buy your product and service. Lacey says connection. I like that. Make you money, more sales, teach people about your product. Thank you. Asia. Kenny says the great ball of interest in customers. Awesome. Thank you for your engagement. Appreciate all of you. Expand and provide info about your product. Convert to long-term customers. Thank you, Addie. Share knowledge, says Tammy. Well, I believe that the goal of marketing is to move people from a sad or undesirable before state, where they were before they met you, to an amazing after state. The goal of sales and marketing is simply to really articulate the shift. What does your widget do to shift people from their crappy life before to their amazing life afterwards? And this is the picture we need to paint as sales and marketers. No matter if you are a marketer or a salesperson, our goal is to move people emotionally, transform, shift them from where they were to where they could be with our widget. So how can we use ChatGPT to do this? Well, exercise number 2, again, you don't have to read those slides, but we're going to jump over to the prompts and go do exercise number 2. And if you notice in the workbook, there is a video tutorial with each of these. I'm doing a 100 days in a row where I'm highlighting different businesses, and I'm doing a daily tutorial on how to use ChatGPT to improve your sales and marketing. So I have links in your workbook to those videos. They're all on my LinkedIn. They're completely free. They're all things that we're doing right now live. So check those out. Not right now, but check them out when you have a second. And so what we're going to do is copy that. If you want to edit this document, just copy this document and you can input all your own stuff into it. You can't edit this because this is my file. If you want to copy and make your own, you can do that where you go and make any live edits and changes and that kind of stuff to your own prompts. Okay, so we'll take it over here and copy it to ChatGPT. We're going to tell ChatGPT, because I told you that it will remember our persona. So we will Sarah's state here. And then ChatGPT, it's okay. We don't need to change the pronouns. All right. So now it's going to talk. And I told it to put it in a nice, clean, pretty before and after table. And I asked it to put 3. It didn't put 3. So sometimes it messes up and you have to remind it. What you want to do. So because just like an assistant, they sometimes won't listen. And it gave us a little bit more on this one. So for the first one, if it doesn't give you enough, you can always ask it to give you some more. So now we have the second component of our prompt, that this is what I would call a clean prompt. So now we have something built that no matter what we want to write, no matter what we want to do, we can build it underneath this prompt. So, and that'll make more sense as I jump into some more of the examples. Okay. So let's jump back into this. So again, there's examples of the before and after. Before, what does she have? A cluttered and untidy home with dirty surfaces and messy rooms. Afterwards, a clean and organized home with sparkling surfaces and tidy rooms. Before, how does she feel? She's overwhelmed. She's so stressed due to constant mess and cleaning tasks. Afterwards, she's relieved, at ease, no longer burdened with needing to clean, right? So can you see how this would be a good tool you would hand to any copywriter, any marketer, anyone you're trying to outsource, team member, or whatever? You would say, hey, this is some of the messaging we want to dictate to people, show people how we move people from a before state to an after state from a storytelling component, right? Because stories are what move people. Okay, so let's jump back to where we're going next. All right. So the framework, I told you about the customer value journey, but I needed to start on this little corner here. See these dudes? They're sad. They haven't met you yet. They haven't met you, the guide. They're the hero. You're moving them from the sad hero to a hero with a cape with his hands on his hips, looking all amazing and feeling amazing and celebratory and all that stuff. So I want to walk through briefly what this, and if you want to take a screenshot at the end, you can. I don't typically share the slides. So if you want to take screenshots, that's okay. Or you can just draw it out if you want to. If you just draw 2 vertical lines and then 2 other horizontal lines to kind of mimic this, you can write it out. But so customer journey in a nutshell, value journey in a nutshell is people see an ad or they find you, or maybe one of their friends mentions your business. Like, hey, my house is so dirty. Does anybody know if they have a cleaning company on a Facebook community post? And someone's like, hey, I know somebody. They recommend them and they check you out. And they're like, hey, you know what? I'll look at their website. I'll take that person's word for it. But I also like to do my own research. So they're looking on your blog, they're looking at your social media, they're looking at your YouTube, looking at your Instagram, reading your reviews on Google, just getting a good feel for your business. And then maybe they sign up for a free quote, or they sign up for, let's say you have a webinar, or you have a checklist, a cleaning checklist, or an organization checklist on your website if you're the cleaning company. And then they show up and they have the free quote, and you give them, they give you some of your time, their time, or their money, a small amount of money. Like if you're a marketer, like it's called an entry point offer or a tripwire here. So it's a little bit of time, a little bit of money. So if it was a webinar, you subscribed to sign up for this, and you showing up is the conversion. You're giving me and DreamBank some of your time. And hopefully we're delivering upon the value that we promised, or we will by the end here. I'm building up on it, right? and we have good follow-up and good experience, and you feel really good about it. And hopefully, they buy that cleaning service, and they buy some more. Maybe they also clean their home, and their business, because I saw that the cleaning company offered the commercial cleaning, and maybe they buy more products from you, and then all of a sudden they have such a good experience with you, they're writing a testimonial or a case study for your business, and you can use that in your social media and have those as resources for your website. And then all of a sudden they become this raving fan for your business. They're telling everybody, they're going to bat for people talking trash about you on social media. They're the ones wearing your t-shirts, your logos. They're the ones carrying around your cups and have magnets on their car with your brand and your logo on it. They're the raving fans. So this is a documented journey of moving people from a perfect stranger to a raving fan. How can we use ChatGPT to do this? Well, I will show you in just 1 second. See, I'm teasing here. Now let's talk about sales. Before we jump into ChatGPT, I want to show you how I can fulfill upon the promise of doubling your sales. And it comes to really bringing out the concept of having metrics, key performance indicators, or KPIs of things that you're measuring, numbers that you're tracking at each stage of the 8 customer journey to make sure you're keeping score. So let's say having this system and documenting using ChatGPT and improving the quality of what your output, or doing more, you've doubled the numbers you're tracking. On awareness, let's say your impressions, you've doubled those. And engagement, you're doubling the amount of time people are spending on your website, reading your blogs. Number of pages on your site are doubled because you went from 1 blog post a month to 1 a week, or 3 a week. And then maybe we're going to use ChatGPT to create an amazing lead magnet for your business, or an amazing newsletter. You've doubled your leads, which has doubled your conversions of people showing up to your webinar, or showing up claiming your free trial or your free quote. And because you have an excite phase that is amazing and delivering those aha moments after they've given you some of their time or money, it's doubled those metrics that you're tracking, which is doubling your sales, which is doubling the number of people giving you case studies and testimonials, which is doubling your referrals, which would all of this would be, if you multiply 2x times all of those, it's 256x growth, which is obviously ridiculous. It's not the bar I'm setting here, but what I'm setting is, what if we just doubled one? What if by using ChatGPT, creating a process of improving your leads, creating your conversion, creating better offers, creating more efficient awareness, creating engagement. What if we just doubled that one? The metrics that we're tracking. Or what if we just increase two or three stages by 50%, or every stage by 10%? I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but I've seen it over and over and over again with the companies and customers that I work with. Once they have this, they're having some of the best months, quarters, years that they ever had, because they're keeping score, they're tracking it, they're focused, they're prioritized. And one of the key components is that we do it one stage at a time. One stage at a time. And my suggestion is you start closest to when people give you money. So you start at the ascension stage and work either up to referrals or back towards excite, convert, subscribe, engage, aware, where most of marketers would tell you to start in awareness and then work that way. So, because once we do this, growth isn't just predictable, it's inevitable. It's just marketing math. So how am I doing on time? All right, 20 minutes left. Awesome. All right, so let's use, again, ChatGPT. Any questions, Andy, you're seeing in the chat?
A couple have come in, but we can address them at the end.
Okay.
Yep.
So again, we're using ChatGPT because ChatGPT can consume the content of people it knows up until September of 2021. So it doesn't have anybody that's like in the last 2 years. But Ryan Deiss, he's been around for a while. He's the CEO of Digital Marketer. So he's him and his amazing team create a lot of these resources that I'm using today. So we go to ChatGPT, be like, hey, ChatGPT, do you know who this guy is? Ryan Deiss. It will say, absolutely, I know who he is. And this is what I was talking about. If you don't know what the customer journey is, that's okay, because ChatGPT, it's got you. It has the understanding, just like I do, of after my almost a decade worth of experience of being able to describe to this, what is this thing? What is this customer value journey that this Andrew guy told me about? Super confused by it, but you don't need to know it. You can just ask ChatGPT. So first, prompt number one, we just like, hey, I like to do that because it shows them where we want to go. And we will take the next step, prompt number 2. And we're going to paste that in. And stages. So let me look here. So the case cleaning service. We will look at her services. And she offers free quote and all right. So she offers maid services, move in and out, apartment. All right. So what we can do, hopefully, is just do all of this and go shabam and go back here. Here are the services we offer. And I will just copy all that in and see what ChatGPT comes out. Now, ChatGPT here can be a little bit limited because we just asked it to do something really complex. So a lot of times they will suggest ideas that aren't necessarily in the right spot in the customer journey, and that's okay. It's a brainstorming activity. So you can look at this and look at ideas. You can come up and pull out ideas and find one little nugget that ChatGPT just kind of helped you create, and you take action on it. Or you can look at this and just measure, like, what do we want to do with that? So let's look at some of these. So from awareness standpoint, run a targeted social media ads, highlighting the convenience and benefits of it. Create a blog post, collaborate with local real estate agents, offer a limited time discount for first-time customers. So that's not really an awareness thing. That's more of an offer thing, but that's okay. Participate in local community events, sponsor local neighborhood, and on and on and on. And I'm not going to read every single one of these to you, but let's look at from a subscribe, offer free cleaning consultation, discount, referral program, follow-up emails. Okay, that's okay. So anyway, it gives you and look what happened. It didn't do the last three. So please provide the final 3 stages of the customer journey. Sometimes ChatGPT gets lazy. You have to remind it, be like, hey, get off your butt. You didn't do exactly what I told you to do. So get to work, my awesome assistant. All right. So now we kind of have this as a brainstorming activity. And as you look at that in your business, you can look at it and kind of like, okay, well, I like some of these ideas and those sort of things. But Andrew, you said 1 stage at a time. So let's continue with that. So the next thing is we're going to look at over here. We're going to go to the bonus exercises here. So we're going to focus on 1 stage. So the subscribe stage. So this is kind of getting more leads. So if your goal here, I saw some people, they wanted some more leads. So it gives you a little prompt here towards like, you want to start with a thread that at least includes your ideal persona, which is exercise number 1, and your before and after copywriting tool, which is exercise number 2. We can leave the customer journey in there, but 1 and 2 are what's necessary. So what we want you to do is, again, we're going to pull in somebody that is an amazing author in digital marketing, and he's a funnel ninja. And I want to ask you, are you familiar with Russell Brunson's books? I'll go back over here, and I want it to create a lead magnet for us. Oh, ChatGPT is being a little bit slow for me. So while it's working on that, so lead magnet basically is that ethical bribe. So you're trying to build your email list, you're trying to get people to fill out forms, trying to build up your list for salespeople to follow up with, creating a lead magnet and what a lead magnet is, it solves a specific problem. And it can be consumed in under 5 or 10 minutes. A specific problem in under 5 or 10 minutes. So let's do this. I wanted to create 10 lead magnet ideas, and I reminded it that I wanted to be specific and I wanted to solve a problem. Very, very important. And it came up with stain removal 101, quick solutions for common stains. That could be a cool lead magnet. On her website, she could put a pop-up up there. So a cheat sheet, 10 steps to a sparkling kitchen, home cleaning hacks under 10 minutes, must have cleaning products for tidy home. Okay, let's do this one. So let's continue with the prompt. And if she wanted to put this on her website right now and add a pop-up, which are super effective. If you don't have it on your website, I recommend it, even though you might think that people don't like them. They might not like them, but they are super effective. So use it. So it was number 7, I said. Okay. And then we can use it as a copywriting tool. So it's going to create a headline, less than 50 characters, a subheadline, less than 50 characters, and a description. So sparkling kitchen in 10 steps, subline quick and easy, download our free mini ebook for simple and effective steps to achieve a clean and sparkling kitchen. So all of a sudden we have the pop-up and everything written for Kay's business. What do we do next? Well, 1 stage at a time. Let's say we want to talk about the conversion stage. So we would go back to your workbook and we would say, okay, this again, instructions, you want to start with the clean prompt. That's okay. And then we want to, after the bonus exercise, which is the exercise we just did, we just kind of created that lead magnet idea. And again, we're using a resource called Robert Bly's book, The Copywriting Handbook. I've never read the book, never read it, but I do know I am familiar with some of the frameworks in it. It has frameworks and processes. ChatGPT's read the book though. So let's go back over here and put that in there. And I wanted to, which one would we use? Number 7. So we would copy over number 7. And all of a sudden, we have all of the web. So what did I ask it to do? So I said, I want you to create 3 headlines. So this is if you're trying to create a website, a part of on your website. It's called a landing page where people can download this. I want you to have 3 headlines, a 30-second video script I can use on the landing page, 6 amazing bullet points, and 3 examples of a call to action. It went to work for us. So discover the secrets to a sparkling kitchen, get your kitchen to shine in 10 easy steps, transform your kitchen with our proven cleaning methods. Effortlessly achieve a clean and organized kitchen today. Here's a video script where it talked about your narrator, the background, the images, the bullet points you can use, the call to action, all of those different components and keys that you can create this website from. And you could even have it write the lead magnet for you, which I'm not going to show you today, but we are coming towards the last 10 minutes. So I do want to do one more example. So
did you want me to pull another one for you, Andrew?
No, I'll just do one more thing here and use the cleaning business as an example. So we're going to talk about the next prompt, which is every single one of you can benefit this, because I've talked about some more advanced strategies. Not everybody on this call probably has a lead magnet, and it can be a little bit complex. So what is something that you could use right now, right at this moment? It would be this one. So I want you to, and this one, again, it gives you the instruction to make sure you have a clean prompt. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we can go back up to where we were before. So a clean prompt would be all the way up here. All right, so it would be editing this. So if we want to have a clean prompt, we could come all the way up here. We would edit this, and we want you to act as a copywriter that looks at our, can help us create a high converting homepage. And here are the components that basically Digital Marketer pulled these from them. This is the components. If you want to have a 5 out of 5, if I was auditing, if I went and audited your homepage, if you want a 5 out of 5, this is what you would need in each of these sections. For your imagery, your sections, your call to action, and the body. And we would copy this over to the clean prompt, delete that, and bang, and save and submit. And it deletes everything that was below. And now all of a sudden, we're rewriting based on what we've already created. We did the before and after, and we had the persona. We're rewriting Kay's website copy here. Simplify your life with professional cleaning services. Say goodbye to cleaning chores and enjoy more free time. Talks about images that she could have on her website. Talks about call to action that she could add for her buttons, body copy suggestions, the whole gamut. So that is one of the examples that I think everybody on this call can use. All right, so let me share my last screen and then we'll jump to questions. And all right. How could this double sales? I'm a numbers person. If you're not a numbers person, just bear with me here. So I talked about key metrics, tracking these things. This is just a small example of if you did build a funnel like this, of having an ad and a lead magnet and an offer. I pulled an example of one of the, if you want to look at this example, I did on my LinkedIn. I walked through this example where I was able to turn a $97 offer, which she doesn't have currently in her business, with an average annual customer value of $11.64, and how conversion rates and click and how you can turn $1,000 monthly budget, and the difference between going from only an increase of $485 to over $5,000 from just small changes and optimizing little KPIs across the funnel. This is advanced. This is 300, 400 level courses. You're probably not going to get out of the gate to this, but I believe that using ChatGPT to improve your sales and marketing and digital marketing system, these are the numbers you can start seeing that you can build towards. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be 6 months from now. It might be, but I believe you can get there. So what kind of questions do we have coming through, Andy?
Yeah, I think there's a couple one that came through regarding AI hallucinations. So how do you check or scrub out those hallucinations that may come through?
What do you mean hallucinations?
So just how ChatGPT can sometimes just kind of fill in the gaps. It's not necessarily always factually correct.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do your due diligence, just like if you were hiring an 18-year-old to write your content. You cannot take what ChatGPT is saying as truth. If you're trying to use it for references and that sort of things, you still have to go back and edit and review and cross-check and see what the internet says, because it'll just make stuff up, and that's okay. But it's better. It'll get you 80% there. This isn't going to give you a polished product. It's not going to get you something that's amazing. It'll probably do it. It'll go from like fair to good to great as long as you prompt it right. So I wouldn't suggest taking any of this stuff and just running with it from a copy standpoint. I mean, copy's not so bad because you're not like creating references. You're not doing a paper or a blog post or whatever, but it's important to go back and edit and because it's a good step to just make sure you're crossing your I's and dotting your T's, right? Or the opposite of that, crossing your T's and dotting your I's.
For sure. A couple of questions have come in regarding the workbook and the link. I don't know if you wanted to kind of address just the workflow that people need to kind of go through to get access to the workbook. I think there's just a couple prompts and what have you that folks may need to fill out first.
Yeah. So the workbook, you should be able to go to my website, fill out a quick form, and get access to, hold on. Oh, did I? All right. So you go to my website. If you just fill out this quick form, then you'll get access to the workbook. 4 questions.
Okay, wonderful. And then another question had come through just about this recording. So we upload our events roughly a week after they premiere. So keep an eye out for that. I know I put the link in the chat there, but it's youtube.com/DreamBank MSN. So I will go ahead and put that in there as well. Okay, and it looks like Diane had mentioned too, could not get the whole form on my phone, had to go to a laptop. So maybe some of you who are experiencing this on a mobile device, maybe go ahead and try and pop that URL into a desktop application. Let me go ahead and remove the spotlight there. All right, so yeah, we got a couple more minutes here for a few more questions. It looks like one came in from Julietta. Do you recommend ChatGPT for blog post or social media content? Maybe both.
Julietta, absolutely. I use it all the time. I use it. I have a podcast, so I paste my transcript into the ChatGPT and have it create LinkedIn posts. Most of the posts you see on LinkedIn were generated by ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT now that you have your persona and your before and after to write out an entire 30-day social media calendar for you, ideas, concepts, scripts. You can do the whole gamut, and it'll do the work of, a 20-year-old intern and then some, especially if you start following the prompts and having the clean prompts that I have that, in the workbook to help you create today. You can do all of that in a matter of minutes that used to take you hours, and then just get it 80-90% of the way there. And you can even paste in your previous social media posts. If you just take 10 of your most engaging posts and say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to learn my social media voice. You could copy all of those from a Google Doc straight into ChatGPT, be like, hey, learn my voice. Click. Now I want you to write a social media post on this. Bang. Do its best job to imitate your voice, just like a trained copywriter or someone you need to train in your voice if you're trying to outsource your content creation to somebody else.
Some nice praise that has been coming in as well too. Some great info today from Diane and Laura. Thank you. Nice to see ChatGPT in real live activity instead of just folks talking about it. Absolutely, it certainly helps to kind of dig in. So glad that you all were a part of this event here today. So we're just at time, Andrew. One last question. You know, here at DreamBank, we are a community that is built up of fellow fearless dreamers. And I'm wondering, what's one piece of advice you have for someone who is actively pursuing a dream right now?
I think that break it into small steps. I think that it's easy to have a dream and start a 10,000-foot view, but a lot of times it's the reps, the daily reps, the simple tasks, the bite-sized pieces that most people don't take the time to break it into the hours, the minutes, the simple baby steps, and having that congruency and consistency that you do it every single day, no matter if you don't feel like it or not. Because I think that if you can break it down to that level, that's what the difference between a dream and an actual plan.
I love it. I love it, Andrew. Thank you so much for that. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap with this. If people are wanting to get in contact with you or to learn more about you, your podcast, the work you do, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Sure. Yeah, my podcast is resistingbeta.com. The Men's Health Podcast. You can find us on all of the major things. If you're interested in men's health, I'd love to follow there. If you want more ChatGPT based stuff, follow me on LinkedIn. I've been doing the Andrew's AI adventure every single day for the last 16 days. So we'll use the example we talked through today to build something else I didn't talk about today. So if you want to follow me there and like and subscribe and fire ideas and examples, I've been doing it. I need the content, people. So if you want me to focus your business, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM and be like, hey, we're trying to do this. Can you show us how to do it on ChatGPT? And I'll give you some free consulting.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think that's a great place to kind of wrap up there. Thank you, Andrew, for taking the time out of your day to put this together. Thank you all for taking time as well to join us here. With that being said, we will go ahead and cap it there, and we will see you all next time. Take care.